want to see you and your wife right off.
Can't do these things without reaching out.
The house began to creak in the county of the land. Follow the yellow brick road.
I'd be tender, I'd be gentle, and I'll
Try and make a beehive out of me.
The knife.
I'll take you to an extra place to conquer her. And woe to those Emerald City is closer.
The film opens in rural Kansas, where a young girl named Dorothy Gale lives with her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry on a small farm. Dorothy is gentle and lonely, and her closest companion is her small dog, Toto. Life around her is strict and gray, shaped by hard work and routine. Dorothy's quiet world is disturbed when Miss Elmira Gulch, a wealthy neighbor, arrives on her bicycle. She accuses Toto of biting her and demands that the dog be destroyed. Aunt Em and Uncle Henry reluctantly agree, fearing the law. Dorothy watches helplessly as Miss Gulch rides away with Toto in a basket. Refusing to accept this loss, Dorothy runs after Miss Gulch and manages to rescue Toto. Knowing she cannot return home, she runs away along the road. Soon, she meets Professor Marvel, a traveling fortune-teller who pretends to read Dorothy's future through a crystal ball. He sees Aunt Em collapsed in grief and guilt and warns Dorothy that her aunt is sick because of her disappearance. Terrified, Dorothy rushes back home with Toto. As Dorothy returns, a powerful storm strikes the Kansas plains. The sky darkens, the wind rises, and the farm is thrown into chaos. Aunt Em and Uncle Henry seek shelter in the storm cellar, but Dorothy is struck on the head while searching for Toto and is unable to reach them. The house is lifted by the tornado, spinning violently through the air. Inside, Dorothy loses consciousness as objects and people from her life float past the windows. When Dorothy awakens, the house has landed in a strange and colorful land. Stepping outside, she sees bright flowers, unusual buildings, and small joyful people called munchkins. Her house has crushed a wicked witch, and only the witch's striped stockings remain. The good witch of the north appears and explains that Dorothy has killed the wicked witch of the east. The witch's magical ruby slippers are placed on Dorothy's feet, transferring their power to her. The wicked witch of the west arrives, furious over her sister's death, but she cannot take the slippers. She vows revenge and disappears in smoke. Dorothy only wants to go home. The good witch tells her that the Wizard of Oz in the Emerald City may have the power to send her back to Kansas. She instructs Dorothy to follow the yellow brick road and seek his help. Dorothy begins her journey, frightened but determined, with Toto at her side. Along the road, Dorothy meets a scarecrow stuck on a pole in a cornfield. He can speak and feels deeply ashamed of lacking a brain. Dorothy helps him down, and he decides to join her, hoping the wizard will grant him intelligence. Soon after, they encounter a Tin Man, frozen and rusted in the forest. Together, the four travelers face many dangers. The witch sends poisoned poppies that cause Dorothy and the lion to fall into a deadly sleep. The Scarecrow and Tin Man struggle to save them. Snow falls from the sky, breaking the spell and reviving Dorothy and the lion. They reach the Emerald City and are welcomed inside, hopeful that the wizard will help them. The wizard appears as a powerful, terrifying figure and listens to their requests. He agrees to help only if they kill the Wicked Witch of the West. Though afraid, the group accepts the task. They journey to the witch's dark castle, where flying monkeys capture Dorothy and Toto. The witch imprisons Dorothy and threatens her life, demanding the ruby slippers. Dorothy refuses. The Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion rescue Dorothy by infiltrating the castle. During the struggle, the witch attacks them. Dorothy throws water on her to protect the Scarecrow, and the witch melts away, destroyed by the water. The Winky guards celebrate their freedom and honor Dorothy. Returning to the Emerald City, the group presents the witch's broom to the wizard. He reacts nervously and tries to avoid fulfilling his promises. Toto pulls back a curtain, revealing that the wizard is only a man using machines and illusions. Exposed, the wizard admits he has no real magic, but he still helps the travelers in symbolic ways. He gives the Scarecrow a diploma, the Tin Man a clock shaped like a heart, and the Lion a medal of courage, helping them realize they already possess what they sought. The wizard prepares a balloon to take Dorothy home, but she misses her chance when Toto jumps out. The balloon lifts away without her. Dorothy is devastated. The Good Witch returns and explains that Dorothy always had the power to go home through the ruby slippers. She tells Dorothy to click her heels together and say that there is no place like home. Dorothy follows the instructions and awakens back in Kansas, lying in her bed. The storm has passed, and Aunt Em, Uncle Henry, and the farmhands surround her. Dorothy realizes that the people she met in Oz resemble the people from her real life. Grateful and changed, she promises never to run away again and understands the value of home. The emotional weight of Dorothy's return is strong as she speaks softly about her dreamlike journey. She describes the strange land, the dangers she faced, and the friends she made along the way. Aunt Em reassures her, holding her hand, while Uncle Henry watches with relief. The farmhands listen carefully, recognizing echoes of themselves in Dorothy's words. Toto rests beside her, safe and calm. Dorothy's voice carries a new sense of understanding, shaped by fear, responsibility, and loss. Earlier in Oz, the relationships between Dorothy and her companions had grown steadily. Dorothy often acted as the center of the group, offering kindness and direction. The Scarecrow relied on her guidance and began to show clever thinking despite his belief that he lacked intelligence. The Tin Man displayed deep emotion through his concern for others, even while believing he had no heart. The Lion repeatedly acted to protect the group, even when he trembled, revealing courage beneath his fear. Each journey forward challenged their self-perceptions. Power in Oz shifted many times. At first, Dorothy was powerless, a child lost in a foreign land. The Good Witch's gift of the ruby slippers gave her protection, but not control. The Wicked Witch of the West dominated through fear, surveillance, and violence, using flying monkeys and dark magic to enforce her will. When Dorothy destroyed the witch with water, power passed suddenly to her, not through intention, but through action. This turning point freed others and ended the witch's rule. Betrayal in the story is quiet and indirect. The wizard's false authority represents a deception built on fear. His towering image convinces the people of Oz that he holds absolute power. When he delays helping Dorothy and her friends, it becomes clear that his promises depend on maintaining control. Toto's action in revealing the man behind the curtain ends this illusion. The exposure is not violent, but it permanently shifts authority from spectacle to truth. The emotional consequences of these revelations are subtle but lasting. Dorothy learns that escape and running away bring danger and pain. The Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion realize that external validation was never required for their inner qualities. The wizard, confronted with his own limitations, chooses honesty over pretense. Even the Good Witch steps back, allowing Dorothy to claim her own power rather than depend on guidance. Dorothy's transformation is complete when she awakens in Kansas. She is no longer searching for something beyond her world. The gray farm now feels meaningful rather than empty. The journey through Oz, with its fear, loss, loyalty, and courage, has reshaped her understanding of belonging. The film closes not with spectacle, but with quiet recognition that home is defined by connection and responsibility, and that growth often comes through hardship rather than escape. Throughout the journey, the landscape of Oz changes to reflect the danger and hope faced by the travelers. Bright fields give way to dark forests, and open roads narrow into guarded paths. Music and movement accompany many moments, but the narration of events remains grounded in cause and effect. Every choice leads to a reaction, Dorothy's kindness invites loyalty. The witch's cruelty provokes resistance. The wizard's deception collapses under simple truth. Each character moves forward, altered by these exchanges. When Dorothy awakens, the memory of Oz fades like a dream, yet its influence remains. Her final words are filled with certainty rather than confusion. She understands that her longing for adventure carried her away, but love brought her back. The storm that once threatened her life becomes the force that returned her home. The film ends with calm faces and restored order, but the change within Dorothy is permanent. She has seen fear and faced it. She has lost and recovered what mattered most. The world may appear unchanged, but her place within it is now secure. The story closes with stillness, leaving the transformation complete and the journey resolved. Nothing else is said, yet everything important has been understood, accepted, and carried forward into her ordinary life quietly forever.